before we are going to start the session, I just wanted to give just recap for the session for the just quick 5 minutes. So yesterday we started with the AI codes. So in AI we understood like what is mean by AI and what are the job roles we have in the market, like as an AI developer, machine learning, and prompt engineering as a data scientist. So we have seen the various job roles. Along with that, we have taken as an example as a human. So it is saying that each and how the organ by explaining okay about the AI functionalities and importance of the AI features. Along with that, we have seen the for an as a developer, what are the technology stacks which required as an AI developer, like knowing the machine learning and the deep learning and generative AI concepts, and follow with the required programming languages and a Python, which we have seen. So, and then we started with the Python programming language. I hope everyone have installed Python on their machine. So because as we have promised, like these sessions will be in the hands-on and hands-on experienced. So along with us, you guys are also going to do in these sessions. Okay, like as far as conveyed, like there is 30 minutes of theoretical, along with the practically also we are going to show them with the theoretical the functionalities or the concepts which we are going to discuss. Okay, so these are the recap which we have discussed yesterday. So I just wanted from everyone, like in the chat room, please message me, or like in a have you people facing any challenges while you're installing the Python in your machines, like Windows or Mac or Linux, any kind of machine. Okay, please do let us know so that we will help you to this next 5 to 10 minutes for the set up the process. Okay, because I don't want like without the setup we wanted to start for the next the items which is required. Okay, so just please message me if everyone has installed and they are good to go with the next topics. Just message as an yes or no so that we can go with that. If anyone wanted to unmute themselves as well, please message, or you can raise your hand so that we can unmute and we can discuss. I don't see any messages here. Means everything is good. Okay, Satish is given the message. All good. Thanks, Satish. How about others? Why, guys? I'm just asking the installation setup because I seen the many people who are struggle to install in the machines as well, because there are a quite in the important steps which need to follow in the installation, or else you will face challenges like the package is not required, the Python is not required when you open like in a terminal or you see. Okay, so you see the challenges like okay, sometimes Python will won't work. Okay, you see, you go any directory, the Python, when you type the Python it will work. Okay, if you selected the Python while installing the Python, you need to click and add on Python to your environment variable. If you won't click, then you have to manually go and click the environment variable, and you need to paste the particular the Python wherever the it is installation installed in the directory. Okay, that's why I just wanted to confirm you people, everyone. Okay, Kranti is also good. Shiva Prasad is also good. Abhishek, Haripriya, yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks for confirming. Okay, then we are good to go with that. Okay, so as yesterday, as Sampath has started, okay, with the Python fundamentals. So I'm going to walk you through some of the concepts along with the explanation of the each and every data type bots as well. So don't worry. First, I will walk you through the concepts of the Python fundamentals. Yesterday already Sampath has explained you, but just quick walk you through. and I will take you the example. Then I'll show you the some interesting tips and how to install the packages, and how to utilize those packages as well. So those are the very very important for as an AI developer to know the installation process and how to utilize those Python packages and everything. Okay. So today we are going to start with variables and data types in Python, and what are the standard data types we have in the Python, and we will see one of the use case as well. Okay, with this the data types and standard data types concepts. Okay, the basically any program, either you consider Java, either you consider .NET, either you consider PHP, you go you take any programming language, there are the data types which are standard data types will be there. Okay, similarly, the Python is also, we have the data types. We follow with the list, strings, dictionaries, numerics, and tuples and sets. Okay, these are the six variable data types or the core concepts of the Python. Okay, if you attend for the interview, also they ask you what is mean by the list. Okay, how do you are going to do the list? What is mean by the string? Can you write the doc string? Okay, how do you write the dictionary? Can I get the key and key of the particular the username or particular if you have the employee names. Okay, I wanted to get this particular employee salary details. Okay, so for that we use the dictionaries and other data types. Okay, mainly dictionaries is the main concepts. Okay, so like this, there are the best examples which they will ask you in the interviews as well. So that's why the data types are the very very important. Even you to write any AI application, even you to write any AI models, the data types are the similar to you. Okay, so it won't take much time you to learn and focus also. So this is like if you know about the strings, and then the similar concepts you are going to apply with the list as well. Okay, let's we see each and every data type with the theoretically along with the practical session as well. Okay, in between if you have any doubt, please message in the chat room as well, we'll try to answer you. Okay, so another one is, what are the standard data types in Python? There is an interactive mode programming and script mode program. I'll just tell you the interactive mode programming and script mode programming. Like and as I shown you here in the command prompt, if I type in the Python, there is a Python console. This is we call as a Python IDLE also. Okay. So what we do, if I write some program here, just I'm assigning some variable a equal to, I just written my name. Okay, then I'm printing the A. Okay, here you see this, the output is a Venkatesh which is come. At the same time, if I close this window, if I try to print this A variable, it won't recognize. This is called the interactive mode programming. Okay, so it is like the temporary information. Whichever the information which you write in the Python ideally or in the console, it is like in the temporary, which you can see that. Later, once you terminate this window, the entire the information will be erases. Okay, that is called the interactive mode program. And what is mean by the script mode programming? As yesterday we have seen that any files, okay, which we saves in the .py method. Okay, as you see the country dot, which you can see the .py extension. I'll just open for you. Yeah, here you can see. Okay, so whatever the code which you write, everything will be stored and you can reuse later as well. That is called the script mode programming. Okay, so I hope you guys are clear with the script mode programming and interactive mode programming. Next, we'll start with the data types. So as you see the booleans, numbers, strings, and list tuples, as we see here earlier as well. So let's jump into the concepts of the first numbers. Just we'll start with the numbers. Okay, what is mean by the numbers? So let's see. And before one more, I wanted to tell you, okay, for every organization and every developer, they have their own, okay, they have their own interest to use their editors. Someone will use the Visual Studio Code to write their program, and someone will use the Spider okay, and spider patch, okay, there are plenty of editor tools which we have, okay. All these editor tools which will help the programmer to write the program with the lesser time, and it will suggest you if there is any some syntax issues or something, if it is went wrong. As you see here, this particular line there is an issue with the code, okay. So the immediately you can see this red color marks. So this is the beauty of the editors, okay. Editors, like, there are basic editors also we have. You can consider the notepad plus also. You can just see the programming, but you cannot do with this basic notepad plus plus, right? But there are some intelligent editors where it will help you to the your code you to execute, and it will tell you, and it will suggest you, and it will recommend you, okay, particular line we have some issue with this. So, and it will show you that as well, okay, what you need to do as well, okay. So accordingly you can fix your issues as well. So that is the beauty of the editors. So nothing to worry, up to you wish, you can use any editors. And the Jupyter notebook is also one type of editor where you can write your codes as well. So as an initial, as in a starting stage of every developer, or if you are into the R&D, I always suggest you to go with the notebook, okay. Because here you can execute with the cell by cell, so that it will easier you to understand, okay, how to write. When you write one line of the code, whether it is working or it is not working, so you can see on the time, okay. So this is the file where you can create your own new notebooks as well, and you can run with this by selecting the cell. If you want, you can add no more cells as well. If you want add like these kind of headings, you can select here and you can click the headings, or like in a markdown or code cell. As for the requirement, you can do that, okay. Let's start with the numbers, okay. In numbers we have, like, in a generally we use the integer, float, complex, okay. There are three types of number patterns which we are going to use. What is generally mean by the integers? Integer, floats, and complex. Okay. First, before that, okay, I'll write this one and it will enter. It will identify that this is the output as an integer, okay. Because of this, these editors have a advanced the mechanism to understand particular number belongs to the which data type as well, okay. Now if any information, if I wanted to store, okay, because here I just passed the directly value and I have run it, and it is running, okay, I can get this value as an a one results. But what if I case, if I wanted to use later on my other cells, okay, how do I can store this information, this particular value? So this value we can store by assigning the variable. Variable is nothing but you can give any name which is related to this particular value. Because you just give that when you are cooking of some information, like when you are cooking in your kitchen as an aloo curry, how will you do that? Because of the aloo is which is used for your curry, so you are giving as a aloo is a name, okay. Similarly, whenever you are using some values, you give the right name, or like by giving of simply a equal to something value and b equal something value, which won't you understand, okay. So giving the right name is also very very important for you to be as a good developer, okay. So here I'm just taking as a value, okay, just as a variable equal to 1, okay. Now I wanted to print this a variable. How will I do? A underscore value. You can see, if again I wanted to reuse also, I can use it wherever I want, okay. And you can see this, as I can say that as I am the experienced person, by seeing this value, yeah, this particular value belongs to the numbers and numbers data types, and this is belongs to the integer family, okay. But how the program can know that? So in order to know that, we can use type is a inbuilt keyword in Python, and you can pass this variable, you can get this. See, as I told you, a equal to 1 means it is an integer value, right? As how system will understand means system is also known. know that this is an integer value, but we need to re-verify, right? As we are the humans, we always wanted to verify whether that particular value is, it's really considering as an integer, or it is in a float, or it is in a string as well. So that just wanted to confirm. We will see the type is of the keyword. Okay, not only here in your when you are writing some of the application as well, you will, while you are writing the code, what you do, you will see the many of the data which will comes to your code. So you need to know this particular data belongs to which data type. So there, then only accordingly you can apply your principles, or you can apply various strategies to consume or to do the next operations, right? So for that, you use the type is a mechanism, whether the data is coming as an integer, whether the data is coming as a pandas data frame, or whether the data is coming as a float, or whether the data is coming as a string, whether the data is coming as a list, whether the data is coming as a tuples. So the type is a keyword is very, very important, which we need to understand to know the information of the particular value. Okay, I hope everyone is clear with this. And let's see other examples as well. Even you can write this 2 plus 4, it will come as a 6. You no need to give the add. This is a sum, or this is a add addition operation. Okay, that is the beauty of the Python. So why we always we pitch that many of the industry also need to select. So you can simply pass the value, which itself you can understand. It can understand. Okay. In other languages, you need to write add or some kind of additional operation, where you need to pass this as a sum, and 2 plus 4 kind of like this, and you'll get it. Okay, you need to pass like this, then only it will get it. But in Python, you no need to require. Okay, anything 2 plus 4 or 2 minus 6 you can do, 2 minus 7 you can do, place, minus, addition, multiplication, division. Okay, percentile, everything it can be done by themselves. Okay, that is the one Python is a beauty, so you no need to worry about that. And here I'm not passing any syntax also. As you see any other programming language, you need to, by end of the line, you need to pass some syntax as well, but you no need to pass any syntaxes. Without that also it will work. Okay, that is the one beauty of the Python, where you can save your time also. When you write under lines of code, you cannot see that, okay, the semicolon which I added for each and every line by end of the thing. Okay, so you no need to worry about that. You no need to have any syntax. By every time you need to keep the semicolons or something. Okay, even for the underlines of the code as well. Next, float, will see how will we define the float. So generally 2.3, or any value after the value, after the point, whichever the value we give is as a float value. You can see 1.1. Okay, by seeing of this value which I'm telling as in a float. But how this the system is identifying this value is in a float or not. Okay, let's see. 4.9. So I told you, right, we need to use a special keyword as in a type, in order to see that what data type the Python is understanding. So b underscore the float, the variable name which we need to pass. See, you can see that float which is identified. Okay, so this is how we will identify each and every variable. Even you can give some other also. If I give 4, see, it will take it as an integer. If I add some other value after the 4, I added the point with the, after any value you added, even you add 0, it is comes as a float. Okay, so and another one, the complex is also one type of the numbers. Even we have studied in our childhood education, like in a 6 or 10 6 to 10 standard as well. Like an we have identified like an c equal to any variable we can identify. You can provide the name, or else like you can give like an 1 plus j. This is a complex. Okay, just will verify as I'm saying you. Okay, c equal to 5 plus 1j. Okay. Print C. Print type of C. See, you can see this complex. Hey, what if case Venkatesh, if I keep the I, what it will understand? It won't understand bars because there is the kind of structures which need to follow. Even in our childhood also, if I change in place of J, if I keep I or K or L as a some character, will it work? It won't work because as a complex is a one kind of numbers which need to be stored the information. Okay, that's how we'll do. So this is about the numbers. We'll see more examples into the numbers as well. Okay. Anyone having any doubts on the number side? Please message in the chat room so that I can understand. Anyone have any doubts? Can I consider everything is clear? Thanks, Durga Prasad. Okay. Any other Raghavi? Thanks, Raghavi. Okay, fine. Just I wanted to be clear because these are it won't take much time the python to learn the python folks. Okay, just follow my instruction. These are the basic examples which is sufficient which I'm showing you. We'll spend more onto this by utilizing these examples. We can see by building some application, some basic like in a calculator. Okay, for an if you are running for an hotel, we see the bill calculator, billing machine, right? You can enter some idli and with the quantity and you can get the price of the details. So we will build those kind of applications as well with this Python fundamentals. Okay, thanks, Satish. Thanks. Okay, then we'll good to go with the next data types. So before that, I'll share the. Yeah, I hope everyone see my screen. So next is the string is the one of the data type. So in string, we will use like any information, like in a text information or numbers also, which can be written in the string. Okay. So in string, we have various concepts like indexing, slicing, adding, concatenating, and multiplying, checking membership, iterating, length, min, max, sum, sorted, sequence. There are multiple operations which you can do. Okay, so these are the each and every the operation which we are going to see in the string side and we'll understand in deeper. Okay. Someone already knows this concept, don't feel this as a boring or some session, but it will helpful for the persons who are starting from the beginning. Okay, this is a session will be really helpful for them, and next session also will be going to add some of the future the important the concepts as well. Okay, so as I told you the importance of the variable, so let's create a one variable as a name, you know, person name. Okay, I've just created the variable because I wanted to store the information which I've written. I wanted to store that information into the variable so that later also I can reuse those information. Okay, so string always start with the syntax of. Okay, string syntax we need to understand is either it will start with the single quote, either you start with the double quote, either you can start with them as a doc string as a triple quotes. Okay, and you can give it as an like this. Okay, any information will any information if it is inside this string, okay, inside this syntax, you consider that is a string. Okay, without thinking any information. If it is inside this information in the string, okay, you consider that is the data types belongs to the string data type. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm using the single quote. Okay, then I'm writing as an some name as an KKR Gen AI Python. Okay, I'm printing the person name as a variable because I wanted to see the output. Okay, you can see this information which is came, and I told you that we need to verify. As I'm telling you that, hey Venkatesh, you have told that any information which is written in the single quotes in between the single quote, that is you are calling as a string, but I just wanted to verify with the Python side as well. How do we verify? As we already have seen, there is a type is a keyword which we'll use to identify that particular variable belongs to the which data type. Okay, let's verify. You can see the class is a string data type. Okay, and one more. Okay, hey Venkatesh, if I start with the single quote here and if I ending with the double quote, what it will happen? Okay, will it also work? No, it won't work. You can see the syntax error because the starting the syntax which you starts, the ending also it should be the same. Okay, then only it will work. You see this? Okay, then if I given here double quote, okay, then I given the end as a single quote, will it work? No. As I told you, whatever you give the initially, the ending should also to be the same syntax. Now you can see that. Okay, you take any example as a Python or something is an string. Okay, this is how we write the string. Okay, just you to remember any information which is present, okay, in the single quote, between the single quote, that you can consider as a string. Okay, either string, either a single quote, either the double quote, anything which you can consider. Okay, and now as I told you that there is a concept called indexing. What is mean by indexing? Okay, okay, index is nothing but, okay, it will give the position of the elements of the text. Okay, suppose Python is a one word. Okay, let will add one more word as a anaconda. Okay, anaconda. So if you see that there are two words which I have added here, you can see the string which I've taken. Now I wanted to print Python alone only. Okay, I just wanted to return Python is a one word. Okay, this is a word which I'm expecting. So how do I get it? Okay, either by using the split or either by using the indexing position also you can get it. Okay, so here the simple method is the split is a better method, but I just wanted to show, I wanted to get the Y character of this Python word. How will I get it? With the help of indexing. What is the syntax of the indexing? Index syntax will starts with square bracket. This is the index. Okay, index syntax. Now you can write the person name. Okay, and one more you need to understand, index always starts with 0 and it ends with, okay, n minus 1. Means if you have a 6 characters, so as I told you that generally we consider from 1 to 6, right? But the index, whenever we are looking with the index point of view, we'll start with the number with the 0 position, then 0 1 0 1 2 3 4 5. 5 is my the last word. Okay, there are six characters which is covered. So it is always, if I give 5 minus 1, as I told you, this is the n minus 1. Okay, if I want entire the Python, okay, if I wanted to get the entire the Python, means the n value I need to take the higher one. So 6 is the my end one which I need to consider. Then only I can get the complete the characters of the Python. Okay, let's try here. Person. So I told you that index will always index with the square bracket. Okay, I've given the 0 to get the p value. Okay, get the p character from the Python word. Okay, so 0 if I given, I'm able to get the p. I need to get a complete Python. So what is my index position here? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can give colon from the 5. So will it get it? No, I told you that n minus 1 which I need to give. If I give 6, I can get the complete Python word. So whenever we wanted to take the sequence of the characters, we always define with the range. The range will define with the column. Okay, 0 to 6 you can define, so you'll get the complete word. Okay, or else if I want only the pyt is the word, only the 3 characters which I require, you just pass the 4. Okay, here I've given extra, so let's see, take 3, you can get it. This is how we do the indexing in the syntax. Okay, there will be the lot of, the reverse mechanism also which you can do that. If you want the last character you wanted to get, instead of that I wanted to write like in a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Space is also one character which need to consider. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If I give the 13, it will give the last, right? Anaconda. Oh, 14 I need to give. I'm sorry. A is our. I, why I wanted to get? I just wanted to return the last character. So simply what you can do that, you can just pass the -1. You can get the last one simply. From the reverse order also you can get it actually. Okay. So this is about the indexing from the starting and the reverse process. Okay. Let's see the string addition. See, here you see the syntax error, right? Hey, why Venkatesh always it is giving? You are just typing because it is considering as an if I give like this also variable it will come. I given in the space, right? So it is thinking that some two different variables which has been assigned here, but there is no variable we have aligned here. Okay, so instead of here I need to select as an no heading or something. I just selected as a code, that's why it's showing the error. Now the error will won't show. Okay, and many people they do one common mistakes also. uh, they do the issue with the spacing issue, indentation error we can call indentation error. Okay, so what it do, the people starts here. Okay, and the next line they start here. See, if I run here, it will show the indentation error. Okay, this is the one of the error which the common error which we see in the Python. So don't worry. Okay, so this is all about the spacing because you started from here. Okay, but the next line which is started from the some second character, second of the space. So that is the issue. Because of the spacing you are given extra, so you are seeing the indentation error. If I taken the back, the issue will be erased. Okay, this is a common issue. Many of the people see that because they write in the 100 lines of code, but they might be forget follow with this indentation somewhere. Okay, when you see this indentation error, just go back and just adjust the position of the lines. Okay, that's all. Coming back to the string addition concept. So I have a two strings. Okay, considering the fruit names. Fruit one, I have an apple, and fruit 2 I have a guava. Okay, I wanted to add two strings together. How will I do? Simply by adding, by just I'm using the print directly to see the output. Just take the fruit 1 as a variable, place fruit 2. Just you don't need to do anything. You don't need to write sum or something. Just you can write simple. See, it is added, but there is no space right in between the words. How will we get it? Here you just add some space, extra space in between that. See now. So how simple, right? You are not using any syntax, semicolons or anything. Just writing two lines of the code, you can add two strings together as well. Okay, this is very simple methodologies in the Python. And you can do the concatenation also similarly. You have a one string, you are going to add few more things. Okay, so you can see this is also one of the example here. Okay, there are with the single single quote, double quote, and triple quotes and everything. Okay, this is how it will comes. Okay, so and next we'll see the one more thing as well. If you want to unpacking the characters also, you can unpack the characters as well, which you can see. Yeah, each and every character which I've taken in the variable and I'm printing. Okay, so this is we call as a unpacking the characters in the string variable as well. Okay, so next we'll see that in the reverse stringing as well, the slicing and everything we have seen. Just we'll see the some other adding and concatenation, joining also we'll see. So you have the some string, like in a name size, you can take that names as a uh, if you wanted to, like, just consider Python is a easy program language. Okay, now I wanted to add a few more information as well. Yeah, how will I do? Okay, your names one equal to or else directly you can add as well. So here by using the join as a keyword, like before that the version I wanted to add in the Python. Before the Python I wanted to add the version. Okay, so you can give them join. Okay, and you can pass the variable, and you can store this into the one more variable as well. Now you can print the names one. Okay, yeah, see, you can see the clearly. So this is strings which is checking, so I'm just adding this one. Okay, it will split and it will do. Okay, next what we do, we'll go with the string is a false or not. So we'll take the iteration as well now. uh, String iteration is nothing but you wanted to write in the for loop. Okay, you are going to have some string Python, and this for loops and everything which will comes in the next steps. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so you can able to do the iteration with the multiplication and everything. Next, you want to get the minimum of the minimum value of the string, like in the a to z, you will be having the 26 character, right? So consider bat. Okay, here you can see the minimum value is a, right? And you can get the max value as well. Similarly, the max value will going to get the t here. Okay, this is how you can get the minimum and max value also. Even if you have in a bunch of numbers, you want to get that whether it is in a minimum or max value also, you can use simply these keywords straightforward and you can get it. Okay, anyone having doubts? Okay. And you want to delete any string, if you consider, you wanted to delete some strings. Okay, so how will we do? Just you can write the my string as a variable, and you can use the delete as a keyword, and you can remove this. Okay, you can use pop also. One second. One second, just I'm cross verifying. Yeah, you can use replace or replace the p with empty string, so it will remove that. Okay, replace is also something which you can utilize, and there are other techniques also with the regular expressions also which you can do, but this will be sufficient actually. Okay, so then we'll look for the list actually. So how will we define the list? So list syntax is also similarly like square brackets. So don't confuse with the syntax of this index and list syntax. Okay, it should be follow with that only. So why we use the list? It's actually lists are immutable. Okay, and you can add more number of various number of data types as well. Okay, so like numbers and floats or dictionaries or any kind of strings which you can able to add. You can able to use multiple data types. Okay, that is the beauty of the list. And once you assign the list, you can delete, you can erase, you can add, you can concat as well. So most of our data variables also it is in the form of list only. Okay, in the application side as well. So let's start with the list. Okay, so I'm just creating the names as a list. Okay, so this is my the syntax of the list. Okay, I'll giving some of the as I told you that you can create the list with multiple data types as well. Because in string, if you try to add like, and you have created a one string as a variable, Python. Okay, and if you want to add string and integers, you cannot add. Okay, and a and print type of a. Okay, it is a string. Now if I wanted to add to string and multiplications like in numbers, you cannot able to add. Okay, I'll create b number is a one more variable as a 3, and you can see. Okay, it is an integer. And if I try to add integer and class, type and b number. Okay, see, you can see that you cannot concat string and integer together. Okay, either you need to convert this number to the string, then you can able to add the numbers. Okay, two integers. Now you can say that. Okay, this is many of the people do in the common mistakes in the while writing the programming also. They have one data type and they will be having another data type. When they are trying to add two data types together, so they face this issue. So whenever we are going to add any data, it should be in the same data type format only. Then only we can able to add to, we can able to join two variables together. Okay, so to in order to handle this list, as I told you that you can create the string as well. So I'm giving as a the Python is a one variable, a one value. And when you are utilizing, as I told you, in the multiple values which can be utilized in the list, means you can have each and every value separated with the comma. Okay, you can pass the numbers. Okay, and you can pass the float values as well, and you can pass some other string as well, like an apple. Okay, now let's print names underscore list. Okay, and print type of this. Okay, here I've given double the commas, that's why the issue. Once again, I've done one more mistake. Yeah, name issue. So you can see that this is the list type. Okay, you have multiple variables. Even if you want to print the value of the list as a second value of the list, means you can see that length also, how many values you have also, you can verify with the length keyword. Okay, you can see that there are four values. That is why the length, when I use the length is a keyword, you got the 4. Okay, so now I wanted to get the second value of the list. So as I told you, here also we go with the index pattern. So index always different with the square bracket only, so not to confuse list and index. So it's based on the nature of how we are utilizing is a very important. Okay, so now you can see this name of the list. As I told you, I wanted to get the second value of the list. So second value is 4.2, you can consider that is a 0, 1, 2, or else third value of the list you can consider. So 0, 1, 0, 1, 2. So if I give the 2, I'll get the 4.2. And you wanted to see the type of this value also, you can get this. So individual, when I print, it is in a float value because it is a float value. If I see that the second value, you can get the integer. Sorry, one I need to give integer. If I give the fourth value, that is a 3, you can see that apple is a string, right? Okay, I missed this one. You can get this. Okay, that is the difference of the the index and the list concept when you're utilizing the index position. Okay, when you're getting the values of the particular list. Okay, so this is how we get the each and every value of that. If you want, you can add to list also. Adding to list. Okay, I already have a names underscore list. I just wanted to add one more list. So I'm adding one more list as an one more list. Again, I need to create with the list type only. So I'm adding add as a one more value. Now just what you do, names plus list plus name list equal to 1. If you want, you can store into the another variable and you can print this. See, you can see there is add is also one more value which is added. Okay, now I'm going to print the length of C as well. You can see that 5 values which you can see. Okay, yeah, this is how we'll add to list. And if you want, you can multiply to list also. You can do various operation with the a list. If you want to remove any value of the list as well, you can do this with the pop. Whenever you use the pop, you need to pass the index value. So if I'm pass the 2, let's see, we are confused about the pop, right? Let me take the help of this. If you type the help and pop, oh, okay, I'm just giving out of range value. That is the reason it is giving that. Okay, I need to just use c dot. Okay, either you can pass directly value itself. Okay, here in the thing, like I'll remove the add. Okay, it is string object. It is again. String object cannot be integer, as I told you that in the index you need to pass, right? See, now it is removed the Python in the C variable. You can see the Python is removed from the Python. Okay, in the C variable. I wanted to remove the apple. Now see the index value 0, 1, 2. Okay, now C dot pop. I'll give the 2. The apple is removed. Just type the C. Okay, now apple is not available. And even you can do with the other technique also by using the delete keyword, and you can pass the list, and you can pass the directly value as a add. Any value you can pass it also. Wait, delete is not working. One second. Yeah, the delete with the delete keyword also, which you can give directly. So you can see this, which is already removed. The Python with the delete keyword. If you want to remove with the another one also, you can give here. Okay. So 4.2 will won't be available here. Okay. This is about the list. Okay, and there is a concept called sets also. Okay, sets we always use to remove the duplicates. Okay, so the syntax of the sets will be the flower brackets. So you see that I have created a one variable, and so here is a syntax for the flower bracket. I have created apple, and here also you can pass multiple values banana. Okay, and I'm passing one, and here again I will pass the apple. So totally you can see that if I type here length of a, you will get the three values only. Why? Because here it is considering as an a dictionary. You need to use set as like this. See the duplicate words which is not available. So that is the beauty of the sets. Okay, so I think today is sufficient for now. So we have started with the data types, then we have covered with the list. Okay, and then we have started with the strings, numbers, and sets as well. So like these are the concepts which we have seen, like an indexing, slicing, adding, concatenation, okay, multiplying, and so other concepts, minimum and maximum. Okay, the same concepts will be available, sum and sorting as well. Okay, you can check with the count also, number of things which will going to get it, and the delete key also, delete also, which we have seen by providing the index position. Okay, and extend and append. So we'll see a few more data types like tuples, dictionary, and other concepts as well, like the try and accept blocks as well, which we'll see in the coming session. So I just don't want to push all the things together. So we'll take next complete session on the discuss on the Python other data types of other ones. Okay. If you have any doubts, please post your message in the chat room so that we can get to know that. Thanks, sir. I'm handing the session to you, and
Yeah,
this will be
hi. Yeah, thank you, Venkatesh. So that's really a good session because Sampath explained in Apple Terminator and Jupyter is another editor. So people has to practice everywhere. And yeah, I mean it's a good session. So we'll be sharing the recording session. So please practice if you are really not good in Python. Okay. Yeah, with that, I'm handovering to next proof of concept demo using Python and LLMs and other stuff. So before I hand over to Pranav, so I request everyone to fill the Google form where we automate all the emails. That means going forward, we will send all the Zoom links, recorded sessions, project informations, the proof of concept related BRDs, technical documentation, technical specifications, and code snippets, and anything related to recorded workshops and upcoming workshops. Everything we publish through email. So please fill the Google form for the next communication purpose, and it is all for you all. Okay, so please fill the Google form, join our WhatsApp community, job assistance, AA job assistance program. So those things you have to, and also follow our social media links because our digital media team is publishing lot of latest trend, news articles and other stuff. So please follow our social media links, fill the Google form, and join to that AA job assistance WhatsApp group. Okay. So with that, I am handovering one of our trainee who took training from us and who is working on proof of concept along with other batch. There are three people working. So he is going to share his proof of concept experience. His name is Pranav. So Pranav, I'm handovering to you. Please proceed. Yeah, let me unmute him. Maybe he's. Pranav, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, hi team. Yeah, myself Sai Pranay Masadi. So I will introduce. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'm sharing you my screen. So yeah. So can you see the screen?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so today I will be providing you my insights on building agents and why is it gaining traction. I will introduce you to one proof of concept which I have been working on, and I will explain you in detail. So what is agents and how to use agents, and what are the different things you need to learn in order to build agents. Okay, so once in the if you have seen media, or if you have been watching YouTube or something, so you know that you have been listening to different people mentioning about AI agents. So was it what? So I will be explaining you what it is. Okay. So if you see the recent predictions of the Microsoft CEO, he says, Satya Nadella, he says that AI agents will replace all these SaaS companies. So what does it mean? So he means to say that AI agents will replace most of the backend software along with the front-end user experience. So what we are using in terms of any company website, the user experience will change rapidly. So if you can see right now, the Amazon documents, they have integrated it with directly with LLMs. Okay, so that's what. Okay, could you please change into the slide? Oh, sure. Okay, so this is today I will be explaining you about agents. So before we understand agents, first we need to understand LLMs and what are its capabilities and what are its limitations. Along with that, what is generative AI and what are agents? Okay, so if you ask me what are LLMs, so LLM is like a child prodigy. So if you have seen any uh, TV channel, so there used to be one guy, like one child who used to be in seventh or eighth grade. So he used to complete his master's or PhD. So what is he doing? He is just reading everything and he's learning and he's writing exams and he is gaining most of the information, right? The same thing. LLMs are like child prodigy. So if you give any information, it learns. So, but if it doesn't have any information, it doesn't know. Okay, that's what LLM has. So LLM has the capability of understanding. So it has the capability of understanding, but it doesn't. If it has the knowledge related to any particular internal database or company data, so it can provide you the answers. For example, if you ask an LLM such as a chat GPT or Claude, something internal related to a company like Nvidia or Apple, it doesn't provide because it doesn't have information related to that. But if you ask something similar, something simple such as what is Python, it has access, it has the knowledge, right? Same thing. So the limitations of LLMs, here we are here what the agents or any other frameworks which the generative AI is capable of is doing is you are combining the internal data along with the capability of LLM and you are coming up with an output. So what is generative AI? So generative AI is generating synthetic data using artificial intelligence. It's simply that. So what is synthetic generation with artificial intelligence? So what we can generate? So we can generate text data, image data, and video data. So text data, you can see that ChatGPT can generate most of the text data. So in terms of questions you are asking, but it cannot provide you some internal stuff which other companies have access to. Same thing, we can provide, we can generate images, videos, such as using DALI or Sora. Okay, this is generative AI. So how agents and workflows can enable us to work with the internal data and come up with different solutions. That's what I'm going to explain. So in order to come up with answers related to that, so we need to understand agents and what are workflows. So what is a workflow first? So workflows are system where LLMs and tools are orchestrated through predefined code paths. So if you can see here, this is a workflow. What's happening? So you are, for example, if you take any code path and if you give a structure to it, like if something happens, if it is important, you do this. If it is not important, you do this. And so in that way, you are coming up with a workflow. And in that workflow, if you are integrating an LLM in between the workflow, so that is called a workflow. But same thing, if you talk in terms of agents. So what is an agent? Agent is a software program, okay, that interacts with its environment. So you provide an environment for the software. So in that environment, whatever access the software has, it will access the information and it will provide you the answer. Okay. So agents has the thinking capacity. Whereas workflow, you provide the structure of the code path, but it doesn't have the thinking capacity. So that is the main difference between workflows and agents. For example, if you take in terms of humans, we have the thinking capacity. So what we should do if something happens, same thing. You are providing the software with an environment such that it will understand the overall environment and it will think what it should do next. Okay. After thinking through it, it will then proceed with the next step. That's what agency is. So when what happens here is human sets goals, but the AI agent will independently choose the best actions. Okay. And it will perform those actions to achieve the goals. That's what workflows and that's what the difference between workflows and agents. So we have to understand where we have to use workflows and where we have to use agents. Okay. So that's when we will use better in terms of agents and workflows. For example, if you have structured, predefined sequence of steps, okay, then it is better to use workflows rather than agents because you know what the workflow is, what should happen next. So that's when you just integrate LLM in that workflow. So the most effective is when we have a well-defined, predictable, and repeatable task. That's when we use workflows. Same thing. For example, if we want to consider agents, so if you want the agent software system to thinking capacity, and it should adapt depending upon the question, and it should come up with the model driven systems. That's when you use agents. And there are also different considerations in terms of latency and everything, but we are not going in depth. But what I'm trying to give you is like you should understand when to use agents and when to use workflows. Okay. So there are like different companies right now working on different agentic systems. Like LangChain is one company that is developing a agentic framework. So that is called LangGraph. Amazon has come up with its own agentic framework, which is AI agent framework. Crew AI. It is also came up with one of. So there are like different companies coming up with different agentic frameworks. Okay, but most of these frameworks are in mature stage, not matured yet. Okay, so they are not matured yet. What does it mean? So it means that when we are using those frameworks to develop agents, so sorry, so we don't know what's going behind using those frameworks. But if you are working in any company, so the company wants the CEO or CTO who are using the agents, they want how the information has been shown up. So they want the links or they want the proof that is it information true or not. So these frameworks which they have been developing, they can provide you the answers, but due to the extra layers of abstraction, we cannot able to debug well properly. So what I have developed is like not using any agentic framework. I have developed agentic system. Along with that, so if you take in terms of machine learning, so there are like different kinds of algorithms. Depending upon the task at hand, you will use an algorithm. Same thing. If you know that data structures and algorithm, depending upon the kind of data and depending upon the kind of problem you are solving, you will use different data structures and algorithms to solve a problem. Same thing. Depending upon the kind of problem you are solving, you should use different kinds of agentic frameworks. So today I will introduce to one such framework, that is Augmented LLM. So the Augmented LLM framework. So here, most of if you okay, let me explain what is augmented. Augmented means increasing the capabilities. So if you take, like, if you have heard about RAG, retrieval augmented generation. So what is the overall meaning? So you are using retrieval. So in retrieval, you are using databases. Augmentation, increasing the capabilities of LLMs. Generation is we are generating using LLMs. So we are using the databases and increasing the capabilities of LLMs for the generation. That's what retrieval augmented generation is called. So what is the difference between what is the augmented LLM? So augmented LLM, this is the overall structure of the augmented LLM. So augmented LLM, here we have an input. The user provides an input. User can be any other person or any other user. And here the main part of the augmented LLM agent is the LLM. So the LLM decides, depending upon the question, so which tool or which retrieval base it should access. It should have access to. And then it comes up with an output. So to understand better, so the augmented LLM has three main components. One is retrieval. The second one is tools, different tools, access to different tools. And the third one is memory. Okay, so what do I mean retrieval? So in retrieval, we are providing access to different data. As I have told you, the limitations of LLM, the LLM doesn't have access to the company internal data. So in order to access the internal data or any other external data, so you are providing the LLM with the access to retrieval, through retrieval. Okay, so if it wants an access to database, what it does, it just queries the retrieval and it just get the results. Same thing. The LLM only has access to some tools. Right now, you can only generate code, or you can you can use it for math. Like there are different tools. If you want to, if you have like a company providing 5 different tools for stock market analysis. Okay. Today, I will take an example of financial advisory chatbot. Okay. So in the to develop a financial advisory chatbot using agents, we need access to different retrieval systems and different tools and the memory. So why do we use memory? So the memory is used here if you want personalization as per the user. Okay. For example, as I'm explaining you, the financial chatbot advisory. So this financial chatbot advisory, depending upon the person's interest, he will invest. Some of the persons has high risk appetite. Some persons has low risk appetite. Okay. So this memory has the storage, like it has the access to different persons' capabilities and it's personalized. um, it has the access to his own personalization. Okay. So what it does is depending upon the type of question the user is asking, it retrieves information from retrieval. It takes the access of the tools. It takes the access of the memory and it comes up with an answer. So for example, right now I have explained you the financial advisory chatbot using agents, right? So what it does, it has retrieval system. So in retrieval system, it has access to real-time stock prediction. If you ask the same question, like the LLM chat GPT, what is the current stock price of Tesla? It doesn't provide you answer because it doesn't have current information. So how the if you ask one more question related to financial data, how the Tesla financials have been in the last quarter, it doesn't have access because the LLM has been trained up to a certain limit at a certain date. So if you ask the question to LLM until which date you have been trained, it will provide you an answer. Same thing in terms of economic reports. The present economic reports which have been generated yesterday or today, it doesn't have access. So what you can do is like you can integrate those access through agents. Okay. And what are tools? You can provide access to different tools for the agent, for the LLM. Okay. So if you want to have portfolio optimization, like there are like different market analysts who have deep knowledge in terms of how to do portfolio optimization. Okay. And they provide solutions in their websites. They have like 5 different portfolio optimization techniques. So they have provided those portfolio optimizations in their website. Okay. And there is like, so you want to use those portfolio optimization without your knowledge. Okay. So the LLM has to decide which optimization it has to choose, and then it has to come up with an answer. Same thing. If you want to assess in terms of risk, like there are like different, if you take a stock, depending upon its volatility, depending upon its volatility, so you take in terms of risk, like tech stocks, if you take, they are like most volatile. If you take in terms of government stocks, like government, like semi-government type of stocks, those are like least volatile. So if you want your chatbot to give advisory in terms of low risk stocks, so it has to it should have it should have access to risk assessment, right? So there are like different risk assessment tools out there in market. So you just have to call those APIs and you just have to integrate it with LLMs. And there are like different financial calculations you have to do in order to predict the future. Okay. So you see that many yeah, in like Bloomberg or any other news companies, what do they do? So what they come up with, like Tesla stock is projected to grow 6% in next year. So what they are doing? They are doing financial calculations behind. Okay. And they will come up with a projection. Along with that, these are like different tools. There it can be like any number of tools. Right now, I have for this demo, I have come up with 3 different tools. Okay. And along with that, memory. So in terms of user preferences, so while you are signing up, you will say that I have like $10,000 and I will invest each month $2,000. Along with that, I have low risk appetite. Okay. And other user comes up with a different portfolio amount, different strategy, and different, he has high risk appetite. Okay. And you can change the interactions as well. Right now, in this month, you told you have low risk, and you ask a question. What it does, it just explains you depending upon your user preferences. And next month, you come and ask the same chatbot. Right now, this month, I have someone is typing.
Let me control.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, please don't disturb. Yeah, the thing is, okay, no problem. I'll leave it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, this is like memory. You're giving memory access to the LLM. So the LLM is the engine in the agent. Okay. As I have explained you here, LLMs, right? The LLM is the main engine. So depending upon the question you are asking, the engine will decide where to go. And depending upon the question, depending upon the information it has collected from the retrieval or tools or memory, it then pass back, the information is passed back to the LLM. Then the LLM right now know the knowledge, right? As I have told you, child prodigy. When he knows the knowledge, he can give you answers. Same thing. The LLM right now has access to everything every information that you have provided. Okay. It can decide upon the question, the output. That's what generation is. So this is the one such framework different companies are been using right now. This is the agentic framework different companies are been using in order to develop agents. There are like different frameworks depending upon the type of task at hand. You have to decide which framework you have to choose. So right now, what I have explained. So what are agents and what are workflows? Okay, agents are used when you want adaptive nature for the LLM to have. Okay, the LLM should be adaptive. It should decide which tool to access, which tool it should have access to, or which information it should collect. So it is like dynamic problem solving. As we humans as well, we are also a dynamic problem solvers. So depending upon the different information we gather, we then decide what to do. So rather than we doing, so we are an emotional people. Like we, after collecting every information, still we cannot able to go ahead because we are like emotional creatures. But these agents, they know what to do. They have like we have defined the system in terms of providing access to different databases and different tools, and depending upon the user or candidate or person, we have provided the personalization memory access. Then it comes up with a solution for you. So this is what all about the augmented LLM. So augmented LLM is increasing the capabilities of LLM. That's it. So I will show you a proof of concept which I have developed for an healthcare industry. So right now, so okay. So if you can, I will show you the code first. This is like different agents. I have not used any framework. I have just used Python along with some of the basic prompting techniques and OpenAI API. See, if you can see, I have only imported Python and I have not imported any agentic frameworks. I have just used Python. So there are like different Python scripts which I have wrote. Okay, so this is in terms of how I used basic Python, and I have used a framework. Then I have developed a simple proof of concept for an healthcare industry. So I have run it using, so this is the uh, user interface. So right now I will ask the system to write an article about some problem. So here, what I have done, different types of swelling. There are like different types of leg swelling, right? So I will ask the LLM to write different types of leg swelling. So I copy this. Running and dependent enigma. So what it does. So right now it's running. Why? So before it's getting generated, I will explain why this kind of architecture is important for companies, because the company or any other person or stakeholder whoever is working in the company, they want to know where the information has come from. Okay. Along with that, they that's the main important concept. They want to know where the information has come up. So for example, if a CEO or CTO wants to know what this team is doing internally, he has an user interface. He can directly ask a question. What is this team doing from the past 3 months? He should have an access, right? Same thing. Here, I have asked a question for this agent. What it does, it drafts the overall article. Okay. After drafting the article, it then refines the articles. After refining, it then validates where the article has come up with. Right now, I have not provided the access to any internal company database. So when I provide an internal company database and I ask questions and when I index the data and when I ask questions related to the company, what happens? So it goes to the entire company database and it forms an article here and it redefines the article if you want to redefine it. Then it validates where the article has come up with. Okay. In companies, there are like Slack channels, there are like different tool or different pages where you write what the team is doing, right? So there is a documentation of what the entire team is doing. Okay, you can actually directly integrate those APIs for this chat, this kind of agents, and top leaders can have access to this. Same thing, if you want to summarize a medical text. Suppose here there is a medical text I have taken from a website. I want to summarize all of the information. So what I do is like I will provide the information. I will ask it to summarize. Okay, it's just like simple summarization. But after summarization, you can add few more things. Okay, so it has summarized. And after summarization, you can also validate the summary. Suppose in a company, a CEO asked his manager, so other manager, what this team is doing, for example. So he sends a mail to the CEO. So this team is working on something like this. What he can do, he can copy that mail and then he can paste it here. Okay. What happens when he paste it here? He rather than reading the entire document, he gets the summary of what they are doing. And after getting the summary, he can validate through the internal database. So it's something similar like, okay, I have received the mail which the team is working on this. Along with that, when I have provided the access to the LLM, so it can validate, okay, are they truly doing this kind of work? So that, and it would also rate. If you provide rating, it would also rate. So what is he currently saying and what kind of work is it's going on, it's happening internally. So that is where the agents are useful. So agents are useful in order for the stakeholders to have like productivity. So rather than working with different teams, what the team is doing, then asking the analysts or developers, and those developers coming up with a mail or any document. So we have been developing this and then passing it for the manager, and then the manager will pass it to the CEO. Rather than going through the whole framework, you can directly reduce with simple user interface applications. So this is one such kind of application where I have developed using the augmented LLM. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you. So if you have any questions related to anything or generative AI or agents, you can ask right now. I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pranav. Yeah, I think feel free to post your questions in the chat room so that we can answer one by one. Yeah, we're almost like 1.5 hours, so Sampath will be continuing from yesterday's session, and he has something to teach, and then we'll close for today. Yeah, Sampath, are you able to unlock?
Yeah,
Okay.
Kola.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think Sampath, you can proceed. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Kola. Hey, hi. Welcome back. Let me share my screen first. Don't want to keep you guys late on a Sunday night, but yeah, I'll just take like 30 minutes. I'll cover mostly. No, we'll just go with the recap first on what we covered, right? Share. Okay. Yeah, I think my screen should be on now. So yesterday with the day one session for Python, what we've covered is the Python installation and why do we need pip. and the other packages, right? So what basically is a package and how Python operates on various operating systems. Only thing I've shown is like MacBook, but we have discussed on like Windows more. 99% people use Windows, so mostly that's it. And also Linux OS systems, right? One point which I would like to add, right? So Windows I haven't tried it, but Linux, which I worked on mostly. So you can have multiple versions of Python on Linux install. That should be a very
But
interesting. Yeah.
Sampath, sorry to interrupt you. I just
Yeah.
covered up this Python data types for the list and
Oh,
numbers and strings, and you can sets also. You can continue with these, dictionaries and tuples. Okay, other data types with the Python Boolean
uh,
apparatus.
okay. I have actually planned for covering strings today, as I mentioned yesterday. But okay, is everything covered here? Whatever I'm showing, Venkatesh.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
Just take with these tuples and other the dictionaries, so that will be the sufficient. So with that, as much as examples you try to show them.
Okay. Yeah, I did not prepare a PPT for that. I just did it for this one, so that would be raw notes. So just go. So everything is covered like the whatever I'm showing, all the methods. Just let me know if anything is missed. I can cover it, else we might need to take up in the next session.
Yeah. Strip and split, these are not covered, you can continue, no problem.
Okay. I'll just give a recap. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
would
do the
give a
recap,
recap
no
on
problem.
this. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Because the next session I'll cover the other sequential data types. Mostly I'll concentrate on list iterations and tuples and yeah, dictionary and sets. Okay. That I'll cover up in the next session. Yeah, thanks, Santosh. Yeah, okay. Going back to the recap, yeah, this we did on the installation and the one point I was saying on the OS, right? So basically, if you're interested to learn or explore, you could very much do it. But Linux, how it operates, right? So you can have multiple versions of any package. So, like say in Python, right? The one which I have is like what? 3.11 and okay. See, the one which I have is 3.11, right? I can still, while having 3.11 or predecessor to it could be on my own operating system, project operating system could be like 3.7. So I could still have 3.7. I could still have 3.11 or even the 2 version as well, basically the 2.7 or 2.8, right? So there are no patches or updates given to it, but still, what I was trying to say is on Linux, you could have multiple versions of a package. Usually what happens is if you have an any software tool or anything, right? If you're going to the advanced package, just like your Chrome browser, there could be few exceptions to it. It's not applicable to everything, but yeah, there are few cases where you could just have one version of a package running on your machine. But in Linux, there is something called etc alternates. So what happens is you can give the aliases here. So what it would do is if I give Python, right, it will be referring to the Python 3.x or 3.5 version. And if I give the alias as Python 3, what it does is it will pick the latest version, which in my case is 3.11. Just some interesting topic. I just wanted to bring it up. The magic of Linux, right? So it's pretty much fast. That's why few organizations still use Red Hat Enterprise Linux OS. That is good. And keywords we have covered, and seems Venkatesh covered the other topics, right? So I'll just go over strings with the next 15-20 minutes or so. So function everyone would have known by now, right? Basically, function is like independent, right? So it is just like whatever you want a program to do, just like a block of code, right? Which you can reuse it. So that's a basic layman definition of functions. Consider it as like a block of code which you can reuse it. So function. And why are we calling this a string methods, not functions? Is methods are basically are a functions, but it runs on an object or they're defined in a class. Say if for example, so what is that? Okay, just to understand is, so I have a class. So within it, I have class methods, right? So that's the basic difference in methods. And if it's a function, I could just have the function definition anywhere within my program. It need not be a class method. It's not defined to the class. So this is independent. Like say I want to read a file. I could just read a file by I develop my own function to it. But if you want to uh, operate multiple things on it, right? Like say you're reading a file, you're printing a file, and then you're copying a file, or else you're replacing something in that file. So all these things, while you have to do it, let me put up raw notes. So okay, so just reading a file, right? So for this, I could just develop my own function. So what will be the input parameter or argument to it? Just the path, right? Path of the file. So within that function, you could always give, like, okay, you need to do an exception handling, right? So why do we need to do an exception handling? Basic example you'd hear anywhere, right? If you see about exception handling, okay, you've given some prints, right? You're printing some content on a printer. So if the printer is out of paper, there is no paper in the printer tray, right? So what happens? It might throw, if you don't give anything. So what we presume is, okay, it's printing the paper. But if you can handle it, like say, okay, there is no paper in the tray, let user know, okay, boss, there is no paper in the tray. So because the printing command you're giving right now, it's not getting printed. You need to put some paper on the tray, something like that. So we are making users or the end user or basically the system let know, like, okay, there is something which is expected is happening. So you need to fix it instead of just leaving in the blank, right? So just like announcing something. So, and why do we need to handle? So everything that goes in is a function. You need to do exception handle. So what I was trying to say, these are all we will cover, like either of us will be covering much detail, but just keep a note of these things. One easiest thing to learn, right? We need not though it sounds like we starts from scratch, we need not start from scratch. So that's the magic of IT, right? Nobody starts from pre-kindergarten. So everyone is like experienced, everyone will be doing it. And even if you go into a lifetime project, sir, I don't know who has the already had gained some experiences in IT, but it's like, you would be given a short of time, right? You would be given something called knowledge transfer, KT. So you should be ready and get going. That's what we do it. Like I go to a different project. I might not know it's a bigger project. Like say for example, I'm working for HDFC. So now I went to something called a Citibank, right? So to understand the Citibank structure or else the complete layout of their coding, it might take me years, anybody years. So, but that's not happen in real time life, right? So you get into a new project, you got enrolled into a project, you would be given some time, like couple of weeks, to get well versed with what is happening. So whatever you learn on Python or data or AI or any programming language that you're doing, so that will help you to just start running. And there's always open source, right? Nobody is restricting you to, okay, don't Google it, don't find it. Nah, it won't happen in real time projects. But interviews are a different scope. You have to understand the knowledge. So what basically it happens is people will test you saying, okay, do you have an exposure in this particular technology? It's not like, okay, I know theory, but hands-on experience, something like that. I'm derailing because few things are already covered. I thought I'll cover out of box kind of a soft skill. Yeah, consider it. Okay, so what I'm doing here, if I'm just creating a defining a function, so just try to read a file. Okay, done. That is my only task. I'm just reading a file. Forget about what I'm doing. So suppose I have few requirements like, okay, these are my requirements. So there are multiple things, right? I read for a file handling. So once I read a file, I need to copy it to another location. So that is my one task. That could be one of the tasks. And then I would say, okay, replace some content in the file. or change the file extension, and or collate the files or consolidate the files. Okay, these are all the different operations I do on reading the data from a file. So to do this, if I go with a function, right? So how would it go? Every time you have to do it. So okay, function, file handling. Once I read a file, I need to copy a file. This is my one function. So can I just go with the second one unless I read the file, right? So to copy a file, what I'm doing, I have a function which is called path to the file. It reads a file and I'm copying it. And then again, for doing replace content in the file, obviously I need to have the file in my memory, right? In my memory as in the executable time, I need to read that content in a variable or an object per se. So how do I do it? I need to read a file. So then what is happening here? I need to again call the function to read a file and then carry on with it to replace the content or the same time here. Or else one would say, okay, why don't I build a bigger function doing everything? But my requirement is I might not be doing all the things at once. These are like particular, like the set of code I want to execute on demand basis. I don't know what I want to do it, right? So for these things, for example, as layman as an understanding, yeah, there is a class. So what happens is the class method. So these and all you could define as class methods. So once you instantiate a class, meaning you're creating a class, an object which holds the file content or the path of the file, and then you start processing it. So once I instantiate a class object, so I could just run with all the methods. So earlier, what we were trying to do, the basic thing would be like put everything in one function, or else create multiple functions and run it, or else define a class and then instantiation object and then call the methods that you just want to execute. So randomly you might want to copy a file, just do a dot operator, and then you should be able to run it. So that's the understanding of function or a method. So while we are calling it methods, because these methods, they cannot be operated individually. Like say, if I have so this I have it open, right? So I'm saying print of hello. So what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to print hello, but what I'm not calling anything, right? This function basically is not being operated on any object or any class. So if I have a string, right? So like say he's, as you already seen, okay, something here is magic. So this is again the same one. I'm just trying to do the same thing. Okay, but if I want to convert everything to upper, so this is a method. See, this method is being operated on an object. So what is our object or variable here? S1. So that's why we call all these functional definitions you're seeing here as methods. They work on an object or a class. That's good to understand, because people, you might hear people saying functions, you might hear people saying methods. So that's like basic or across all the programming languages. That's with it. And continuing, okay, split. Okay, these are like pretty useful things. So you might consider it like, okay, yeah, why am I learning about strings that much? Or someone like Venkatesh has already covered, or I'm covering. But in real time, these are the methods that you would be using throughout, like especially when coming to data handling, data like Panda data tables, right? If you're creating data frames. So most of the times, whenever I work on, so I read everything as a string, so by default, so that makes the works easy. So and also most of the things is we shouldn't be in a position to, okay, you have to do something with a table that you're reading, right? From the database you're reading a table and then putting it on a data frame. So you shouldn't be in a position to search, okay, what do I do if I have to replace something, or what do I do if I have to find something is there in the string. These things should be on your fingertips. You might not know the context or else the exact syntax, of whatever is here, right? Or any whatever is here, you need not know the exact syntax, but you should be able to think of, okay, this method might help me. So that would save time in real time coding. That's what these trainings are for, right? You need not memorize everything, but you should know, okay, if I have to remove spaces, what should I use? Okay, there is a strip. So mostly L strip, right strip, left strip. So most of the times we use always strip, so which will remove all the spaces. So and also there is something called on the strip, right? So like say this is our method S1, right? So what do you have in S1? Okay. So again, let me do something with S1. Let me see how it works. There is still space. So, okay. It's stripped. So here I'm not catching it, right? So what it's happening is if I print S1, S1 would still be the same. I'm not manipulating S1 here because this is all dynamic, right? I'm not catching it into any other object or variable. I'm just printing it out. Simple. What this statement is as equal to this. Right? I'm not doing anything. Instead of giving the print, I'm just typing it in the command. That's it. But I'm not manipulating. This is the return type. So how do I store it? You just assign another variable and then S1 would still be the same. Now S2 will be the one without spaces. S1 would still be the same. So naming. So here we are giving S1, S2, right? So ideally, if you're writing a program for a project, right? So it would be like, okay, raw data or strip data, something like that, or modified data. You could always give underscores, everything in the variable names, object names. So you could do that. And suppose what I want to try is, let me see. For the strip, right? We can also strip any characters. Like say, if my code starts with pound or at the rate, right? If my string starts with at the rate, so what it's doing is it will find so earlier what we are giving optional. So we're not defining any, we're not giving any, passing any parameter basically. We're just leaving it blank. So default. So what is going here? It's optional, right? Within the strip, I'm not defining anything. So by default, what it understands is, okay, remove spaces wherever you find at the beginning of the string or at the end of the string. If you are defining a character in it, right? So what it does, it will look for this particular character and it will see if it exists, it replaces it. Otherwise, it does nothing. It just returns the string as is. So let's see if okay, let us try something. What is my S2? S2 is stripped, right? Let me see. Strip of. Yes, see, instead of giving a special character, so S is something which is in the starting, so it removed it. If it was there in the end, it would remove that as well. And replacing, I guess it's already covered. String split is like it would split into a list, so which the list and tuples, dictionary and sets, the other sequential data types. We will cover it in the next session. And is slicing already covered, Venkatesh? Or reversing a string? Mm, mm. Maybe pen and something. Okay, thank you. Okay. So slicing, so consider it as an array, right? So whatever is happening. So let me see, where is my, okay. So what is my S2? S2 is still something is matching. Okay, I just want to, okay, you, it's quicker, right? As we always say, Python is easy, quicker. So let's say I just want to print something. Like say, so indexing, very quick understanding on indexing. Indexing everything, how it saves, right? So everything starts with 0 here. So this will be the 0th element, first, second, and so on. And the last one, if you want to read anything from the last, it would be the -1. This will be the -1 index, -2, -3, -4, -5. Even space is considered, -6, go on. So from here, if you're starting, it goes from 1, 2, 3, 4. So before that, let me try to get the length of the string. So what is my string here? S2. So it has 18 characters in it. And this 18 includes the space. Space is also considered as a character. So simple, right? Simple examples we'll get. Okay, I just need the first part. So what is the practical application of this? You would be, as I mentioned, right? We think, okay, why are we just playing with the strings, getting the first 3 parts or 4 parts? If you remember the earlier session, what I was saying of the data manipulation, or basically the data compare that we're trying to do. So that is a real-time example where I had to work on multiple columns. This is the one, right? Like say SSN. SSN will be the combination of numer, just like our PAN number, right? Like say it's AAA, something like that. Something like this. So there could be some issues with it, or you're deriving a code, like say some authentication code, right? So you are enrolled as a customer. So sometimes your security question will be like what? Okay, yeah, you'll receive PDF from bank statements, right? So what is your combination? What is your password combination for it? They'll give you like last four digits of your phone number plus your PAN number plus your date of birth by date, month, and all. So how do you do it? So your date could be something, right? So nobody will store the data as is, right? And the banks would send their statements password protected to the millions of their users. They won't store it, right? But what they store is your first name, last name, your phone number will be with them, your first name, last name will be with them as you give it, and your date of birth will be with them as as for like any format that they have. They could be storing like August 1st, 2000, something like that. So how are they getting it? They get the last 4 characters of 4 digits of this number, and they will have first four characters of your first name and the year and month of your date of birth. So how are they doing it dynamically? They're extracting a part of the string. So that's important. So just not like we are playing something here, but that is very important, and that's there in everyday use. So like say how the strip works, the substring, right? Basically what we're trying to do is getting the substring of it. Like say how I do it, S2, right? So how it works is it has the start, stop, and step. So everything is optional. Other than the first one, it's optional. So like say start of the string. Like say I just want to get this start, and what it's happening, it starts with the 0th index and goes until the 2, but not including 2. So this is 0, as I said, it is 0, 1. You got so something. So if you're going with your first 4 digits, first 4 characters of your first name or last name, you'd get this. So they will combine, they will extract the info from each of the column that is saved, or each of the column itself, right? Even in the database. So they'll get it and they'll derive something from accessing multiple columns for each customer, and that is dynamically created. And that is how they password protect the PDFs and send it to you over email. So this is what it is. And if you want to get the last characters, right? Like say, so this is the step. If I try to do, so what is happening here? The last digit is the step. So one is like from 0 to 4, I'm getting everything. It is incrementing by 0, 1, basically. One is, even if you give, you don't give, by default, incremental step operator is always 1. So if you're giving 1, it is the same. If I'm giving 2, what is happening? If you see, it's started with yes, and it skipped the second one, it 0 plus 2 to m. And after that, it's not giving anything. Though the length of the string is 18, I'm limiting to get the 0 to 4 index by incrementing by 1 here, by incrementing by 2 here. So this might not be relevant, but these are like very relevant examples. So we don't play with the step or skip, something like that. And reversing, right? So what is my S2 right now? Python as easy as. So while reversing it, all you have to do is give the colons and -1. So this reverses the string. So if you want to learn much, right? So your exercise could be, instead of using the basically substring, right? You could define your own function. So why I'm saying function? Function is simple here, right? So what is the input argument? You're just passing a string. So how you could try? So try it. You could explore on functions. So how do you define your own? To accept a string and reverse it. You could do it. So while reversing, so what you do, just an idea, right? So as to reverse, if I'm doing it manually, so how would I do it? So I need to find the length of the string, and then I need to start from the end index. Like from the 18th, I need to start, and to the obviously the list would be the 0, something like that. You could try it out. So this is important. This most of the, if anyone wants to test our basic knowledge on Python, so people would ask, how would you reverse a string? And if they want you to write to code it, they could ask you to code the function. What I was just saying, they could ask you to write something like that simply, or this. See, it's a single line statement, right? It's just reversing the string within the single line. That is one thing. And if I want to get the last character, so my S2 is still this, and like say initially what we got 0 to 4. Like say I want the last four. Last four characters are printed here. So how it's starting is how it reads, right? This is my start position. What is my start position? -4. So -1, 2, 3, 4. And from start position to what is my end position? I didn't give any end position. So it considers the max, whatever is the end point. So it is giving until AGIC. So this is with the string slicing, which is pretty essential. So even anywhere, right? Most of the time we'll be using it. And what else? So that is something important. And join with iterable, I'll cover it in the next session. So anything that repeats, right? Iterable. So that's what we call it as an iterable. And replacing, I think mostly it should have been covered. Replacing and finding, it's like if you find this characters, right? Set of characters, you could just do it like find off the substring. Like say I can quickly do it. I just okay, wait, I'll just. So what is
Sampath, there
nice?
is a question on, please explain again something. Can you check that? S2. Yeah. Let me ping you back. Please cover that as somebody asked.
Yes. Okay, I think Raghavi responded.
Yeah, Raghav responded, but still.
Oh, okay, this one. Okay, so yeah, I can put it here. Yeah, step. So what is the syntax with it, right? It's like the string dot start and step. Okay, so this is what I was trying. So the one which we did was s2 dot. What is my start? 0, 0th index. And then what I want to end at 4. And what is the step? So step is like optional. So if I give this and s2 dot 041. Both are same. Step is nothing but incrementing. Let's say consider it as an increment. So what is my start is 0. I want to get until 4th index, but increment it by 1. So that is like default. Even if you give 1, it doesn't matter. You don't give 1, that doesn't matter, because by default it's increments by 1. So let's say 4 is a very small example. Let's say 10, right? So here, if I'm giving this and I increment by 3, so what happens? The 0th, I'll show you here. So let's say, what is my S2? S2 of 0, 10, 3. See, it went with S and then immediately jumped to the 0 plus third, right? 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, E, and then it went with I. And then why it broke here? Because I wanted until the first 10 characters. So the same thing if you give 1, let's see with 2, and then let's see with 1. See, 1 is straightforward. And again, as I was saying, you don't give it, same. These two are same. 2 is skipping, it's 0, and then M, and then T, and then IG. And then again here, it immediately goes to E, I, and then there's a blank character. This is what it is. This is mostly, yeah, rarely we might use it, but yeah, something like this. Slicing and reversing is important, so that's why I wanted to cover it again, even if it is covered. So this is the pretty much of it. And substring find, I guess it should have been covered. I think already covered, but S2 off, right? Let's say I wanted to see X. What is my S2? So if you see here, so if it don't find it, it just gives you -1. If this character is present in the string, it gives you a 0, meaning it's true. It has it. And you can always, so S2 is this, S1 is this. So we need not compare, right? Let's say, so what is happening? It is false. So I'm just comparing two strings, right? I'm not saving it or written, I'm not saving the return type into the variable or not defining any variable. I'm just using the print within it dynamically. So let's see. If I want to make it match, maybe I can try this. See? Here, I'm not saving s1.strip anywhere, right? My s2 is this. My s1 is still with spaces. I'm stripping all the spaces. I'm just playing around with it. So this is also important sometimes. So sometimes what happens is if you're handling multiple, obviously you'll be handling multiple rows by columns, right? So what happens, you need not define everything. Dynamically, you could just compare the string. If it's equal, just do it. If it's not equal, just go with the rest thing or do the string manipulation or anything that you need. You need not always define it. So this could be put in the if conditional statement. Similar to what we're trying to do is I'm just getting the boolean of it true or false. Or else a similar thing you could do it is an if else conditional statement. So this is similar to what I was doing. It's pretty simple in Python. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think rest of the things are covered. So if not, I can take up in the next session. I would just give a recap of everything, whatever I have it here in the next session. And the next one, I will try to cover on the other sequential data types, what we have here. Right. Majority of it, right? As long as a string is considered, list and tuple are pretty much important. Dictionary and sets are little advanced. We'll use it often, but from my frame of work, right? So where whatever I do with it, mostly we work with list, tuples, and strings. Whenever you're doing data handling, if it goes advanced, then yeah, obviously you need to use dictionaries. Yeah, dictionaries are good. Basically, when key pairs, right? Key pair values. Like say when I'm operating on multiple hosts, right? Like say I have an environment called user acceptance testing environment. So I have like 20 servers assigned to that environment. And similarly, there is something called testing environment, which is quality assurance or QA environment. So in it, I could define it in a dictionary. So my key value will be UAT, as I was saying, user acceptance testing, and the key pair value would be the value would be the multiple hosts within a list or usually we go with the list there. We don't need to use tuple, so we go with the list. So there are like whenever I call UAT, so it will give me all the hosts. So that is one example of it. And set, whenever you want to avoid duplicates, you would define a set. So that's also comes handy. There are very interesting methods or operations on the basically list, tuple, dictionary, and sets. It will take some time, but those are very interesting concepts, and you would use it throughout. Yeah, we'll cover those sessions in the later sessions mostly.
Sure. Yeah.
I That's it, Kola.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sampath. That's really great. Yeah, I think yeah, we'll announce for the next class from Sampath's side, maybe on the weekend or weekday. So we will communicate through our groups. I think I unmuted everyone. Please make sure if you want to ask questions, you can feel free to do that before we close. Yeah, please ping in the group chat so that I can unmute. But I see that I unmuted everyone. So if any questions related to proof of concept or related to Python or any general question, please ask your questions. I see that all participants to unmute themselves. Yeah, I enabled. Yeah, I know we are at starting stage, explaining all the basics and all, but this is how we go. Yeah, from next week onwards, we are trying to assign the proof of concept to set of people, and you guys can start work on that parallelly along with these classes, so that you feel like little challenging and interesting. So we are working on that as well. I'm talking with each and everyone, and we are making sure that we assign the proof of concept by sometime next week. Okay. Yeah, that's all about today, and very happy rest of the weekend. And thank you so much for all retaining for the last 2 hours. And I will publish the recorded workshop to everyone. If needed, please listen and write your questions. We will answer in the next class. Okay. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you, Venkatesh and
Just
Pranav and
one question.
Sampath. Yeah, Abhishek. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, Sorry, this is irrelevant. Um, you said that access to some portal will be given.
You
Is
are
it?
asking about student portal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think we are working on that. Definitely will give on that. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Mm.
you. Thanks.
No problem. Okay. Thank you, guys. Happy weekend for the rest of the weekend, both in USA and India. We'll meet again. We'll give the notification for the next class. Yeah. Thank you, Venkatesh, Pranav, and Sampath for today's demos. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to KKR Gen AI Innovations channel.